Well, does anyone know what the next toilet is? Not that I need one, but the thing is, in Berlin, you have about 2.5 million toilets, right? I mean, it's amazing. No one really thinks about it. At the same time, you have 2.5 billion people in the world with no access to a toilet at all. So 1,000 times bigger than Berlin, no toilet. Can you imagine how long you have to walk to reach the next toilet? So, welcome Professor Dr. Carsten Dierkes from Sunny Solar, talking about a potential solution to the issue.
Thank you, Mr. Schmidt-Lord. Yeah. Okay. Let's start with some facts. Still 4.5 billion people in the world still do not have access to basic sanitation services. And of these, 2.3 billion people have no toilets at home, so that safely manage excreta. And still 892 million people still defecate in the open, which is nearly a catastrophe. And as a result of this, we can see that every 20 seconds a child dies on this world as a result of poor sanitation, which is really a big catastrophe. So what are the sanitation systems we are facing? What is the state of the art of the moment in many, many countries? It's this old latrine concept. This concept is 2,000 years old, and basically it's just digging a hole and doing the shit in, and what do you do afterwards? So that is the big problem. So that's why you have to take all these excreta out, and what do? You pollute the water, and especially you spread diseases like hepatitis, like diarrhea, like cholera, like polio. So this is a sanitation system that is too old and that is not state-of-the-art at all, and it spreads the diseases all over. So looking at some facts, you can see that, for example, there is a strong relation between infant mortality and the access to improved sanitation on this world. So what can be the solution? Looking for the 19th century, we had a sanitary revolution starting in London and Europe because of this problem. We built all the sewers, we know that. We started to build the central wastewater treatment plant, but that is not the thing for 7.5 billion people in the world at this moment. So what do we have to do in rural areas, in off-grid situations? So we developed a kind of a sanitation system, and that is not a toilet. The toilet is just the bowl where you shit in, but the question is, what do you do afterwards? So this system consists at first of a cabin. This cabin gives back the people their dignity, and it is a shelter also for the people. Secondly, we have a containment where we store separately the excreta, so that means we divide the urine and we divide the feces. And the main part of the system is that we have a treatment, and this treatment is only driven by solar energy. So we dry out the feces and we dry out the urine immediately. By the system itself, you can see afterwards, the people itself can remove their disposal and can get rid of very, very safe and clean, so that there is no danger of contamination and that there is no danger of contaminating our water courses. So the system works totally without water. You can build it wherever you want, just the only thing you need is sun. It does not use any chemicals, and it is not kind of a composting toilet. You need nothing. The only thing you need is this cabin and this engine. You don't need any electricity. Solar power just means we are just using the sun to dry out everything. We have no odors. That's very important because the flies follow the odors. So then they come into contact with the feces. So if you don't have odors, you will not have flies. So there's no transmission of the diseases by the flies. There is no need for external maintenance of these systems. The people can maintain the systems itself. So there is very, very low maintenance. The operation is done 100% by the user. So you just put it into the place, and then it can work for 10, 20, 30 years without anything that is needed. We have over 95% mass reduction of the excreta afterwards. So we just have a low material afterwards. So it is a complete on-site sanitation system for one family. 5 to 6 persons can use a toilet like this. And at the end of the day, we have a safe disposal. We stop the spreading of the diseases, and we have a nutrient recycle. So you can use the dried urine, for example, theoretically also the dried feces for those purposes. So the vision is to socialize sanitation by sustainable off-grid systems to improve human welfare and the public health. So I think we had a first sanitary revolution in the 19th century, and now it is time to start a second sanitary revolution with those off-grid systems to help the people. Thank you.
Perfect. Carsten, many thanks for presenting. We did a little market research, and there are a couple of countries in the sub-Saharan world that have in their governmental goals to provide access to all the populations to a toilet in the next 15 years. And probably maybe you have the technology to it, so we can really try to scale it up.
Thank you. We hope so.
Yeah.
Yes, so we have a lot of installations in many countries of the world, starting in Africa, starting in South America and Asia. We see that the system works even under different climatic conditions, and we hope that we can spread this idea around and found more and more spots to
Perfect.
use
So
this
if anyone here would like to invest, let's talk to you right
We are open to that.
afterwards at lunch. Thank you very much for joining on stage.